Jim Brown was one of the greatest football players to ever walk the face of the earth. He was a legendary running back who revolutionized the running game of the NFL during 9 of his seasons. Jim Brown was born on February 17th, 1936 in St. Simons, Georgia. His mother was Teresa.
What are you gonna do? You're feeling yourself up.
Jim Brown's father was Swinton Brown, also known as Sweet Sue. He was 6'2", 225 pounds, and had a serious gambling problem. Because of his gambling problem, Sweet Sue often argued with Teresa. The two eventually divorced when Jim Brown was only a few weeks old, and Jim would rarely see his father ever again.
Don't you argue in front of our baby.
I don't care about him. I don't care about him or
How about
you.
you just get lost?
You want me to?
Yeah, I want you to get lost.
It's time to be a big girl now, and big girls don't cry.
What are you trying to do?
Teresa was a maid for a Jewish family. She and Jim lived in one tiny room of that Jewish family's house. Dreams of opportunity in northern and western cities during the Great Black Migration enticed Teresa. She decided to leave and had to abandon her son, Jim, at a young age, although she promised to return for him sometime.
You cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding, love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding, love.
Because of his mother's departure, Jim felt very insecure at a very young age. Jim had to live with extended family in one tiny house with only one floor. His great-grandmother was Nora, his grandmother was Myrtle Powell, and his aunt was Bertha.
I love you, Jim.
Brown's mother did return for him when he was around 8 years old. However, that did not stop Brown from having a twisted childhood, as he would often return to his great-grandmother's cabin where he would become involved with a gang. Brown's mother also worked very long hours, often up to 18 hours a day, so Brown had to practically raise himself. Brown's gang loved football. They played street football, often falling and cutting themselves on glass and developing their toughness while battling other gangs.
This is way too much, I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
Alright, we're good.
Brown's gang would often battle with other gangs, sort of like a fight club. Everyone that Brown encountered was very gifted athletically, just like himself, although Brown would normally sweep his competition in a fight. During his high school years, Jim attended Manhasset High School in New York and became an all-star in all 4 sports of lacrosse, football, basketball, and track. Despite his troubled upbringing, Brown decided to attend Syracuse University, where he played and dominated in all 4 sports that he did during high school. Jim Brown was then drafted 6th overall in the 1957 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns. At 6'2", 212 pounds, Jim Brown dominated in the NFL. As a rookie, he had 942 rushing yards. He had 7 other seasons with 1,000 or more yards. He had 1,863 yards in one season. He He had a total of 12,312 total rushing yards in 2,359 attempts, and he had 8 rushing titles in a 9-year career. Brown retired at age 30 because he wanted to finish his career while he was still in his prime. Because of the racism that Jim was exposed to as a young child when he lived with his extended family, he became a civil rights activist after his football career. He not only helped to improve the lives of blacks outside of football, but he also pushed for racial equality in sports like football. He was also revolutionary because he was one of the first black men to star in movies at the time. Despite how good Jim seemed to be, he had his faults, including his temper issues and problems with women. He experienced many legal charges throughout his adult life, but most of the charges were dropped until 2002 when he had to serve prison time for damaging his wife's car.
I'm not what you need, and I will always love you. I will always love you.
Not only would have Jim's parents made up and stayed together with him during his childhood, but because they would have stayed together with him during his childhood, he never would have lived with his extended family, and he never would have joined a gang either. This would have reduced the violence that Jim experienced during his teenage years. Also, because he wouldn't have joined his gang, Jim would have never fought with other gangs, and he never would have played football as much as he did, possibly reducing the chance of going into professional football during his later years. If Brown had not gone into football professionally, he would have impacted football greatly. First of all, he would have not revolutionized the running game. He wouldn't have been chosen by the Browns, and the Browns never would have won the championship in 1964. The Browns also would have lost their best player in franchise history. Had Jim Brown not gone into football as a professional sport, the first option he could have explored was track, because it would have been the least violent sport that he could have played. Brown also was a running back in football, so it would be logical for him to be very good at track professionally. The second option that Brown could have explored if he didn't go into football would be basketball. It was the second least violent of all the sports, but it is still fairly physical. During high school, Brown dominated in basketball, scoring 39 points per game during his senior season. In college, he was still very good with 13.1 points per game, and he was really good at rebounding.
You dig?
6'2".
No, you got me in the shot again.
Had he gone into basketball, he probably would not have spoke out for black rights in the sport, because there were already a fair amount of African Americans who had made it into the NBA.
Dude, you're retarded. Come on.
H to the ISO, B to the ISA. With Shizzle, my Nizzle used to dribble down NBA.
The third most likely option that Brown could have explored instead of football would have been lacrosse. Although he was very violent, he was a Hall of Famer during college. He was a 2-time All-American midfielder, and he led the nation in goals during 1 year. fourth and final option that Brown could have explored instead of football would have been baseball. Although Brown never played baseball in his life, he certainly could have because of his athletic abilities. He could have been influenced by the recent movement by Jackie Robinson, and he would have been welcomed into the sport because the racial barriers have been torn by Robinson.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people.
Also, if he would have gone into baseball, he probably would not have spoke out for black rights as much because Jackie Robinson had already broken the barriers. Overall, with a different career path and with a different exposure to racism during his childhood, Brown probably would not have spoke out against racism and for black rights had his parents made up and cared for him during his childhood. Without his mother's abandonment, Brown probably would have treated women right. He would not have abused them, and he wouldn't have gone to jail for damaging his wife's car.
Here, it's recording, so just go.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise and keep on reading the signs of my body. I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel it's right. All the attraction, the tension. Don't you see, baby, this is perfection.
Dude, I'll put the music behind this, and it'll be like, we fly so high, you know it's bowling.
Here, let me get the ball.
There you go, Pat. God, oh my God, Pat.
No, I got it. This is my.
Just make it. Oh, Pat. Sorry, just get up there.
No.
Cross him over, act like you fell. Oh my God.
You're good.
That wasn't funny.
Did you get that on camera?
Yeah. You think you're a tough guy, huh? I'm not getting that. What do I say then? What do I do then?
Just keep doing that. Keep doing that. She was like a sweet, innocent child. Stop. Stop. Stop.
All right, I'll...
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go. Is that your police baton?
You're not gonna hold my hands. I'll hold my hands. Alright, can you see my
Did you just walk into that? We're putting that in. We're putting that in.
I thought it was open!
Pressure us.
Project that I did enough in already.
Yeah, but you didn't show up yesterday for 5 hours.
I was in Nathan Fletcher's house for 5 hours.
Alright, no, you do it. I don't use that.
Shut up and go. Just shut up and go.
Pat, just put on the mask and preach.
One man.
Move your
Wait,
hands.
hold on, I mean that's a little inappropriate.
What do I do?
Move your hands like you're preaching.
Good.
Keep moving your hands. Okay, Pat, you look like you're trying to swim or something.